I am Notita Talk, also known as Master Kanbei. Today we got a special guest, uh, and I hope guys will enjoy. I will let him present himself.
Hey everyone, my name's Witty, and I recently started a YouTube channel of my own. Right now it only has one video, but I'm working on a couple more.
So this is good. So I will link his channel in the description of this video, so people can follow him. And let's do this. Are you still in control of the screen?
I am in fact, so
Perfect. You can start off the turns at the pacing you feel fitting.
okay. Well, let's talk about the CEOs in this stage first. So this map's called the Static. Just a pretty generic fog map. It's been in the league for a very long time. It's also a tier 4 match. I'm playing Jake, who I think's the best CEO on this map. Maybe Jess has competition for it, but there's a lot of planes, and I think it's so big, I think his superpower can get a lot of value. So that was my thought process picking Jake. Well, why'd you pick Grimm on this match, if I can ask you?
Fun fact, I think Grimm is a bit better as a CO in this map, only because of the pipe scene. You see, most CO they will take 3 turns to blow up the pipe scene. Grimm takes only 2 because of his increased firepower. But of course, since Grimm is trash, even if he got a small advantage in early economy better than the other seals, he cannot maintain it because it's Grimm.
I don't entirely agree with you there. Actually, the next video I'm going to upload to my channel, I'm going to be playing Grimm. So I think he's very strong in fog if you have him on the right maps. And like this map in particular, I wouldn't play him, but Vandalism is a really weird one that I like him on. There's also a map called Scavenger. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Yeah,
But that
Scavenger is
one,
very fun. I played Scavenger with Djus. The video will be out once
uh,
I'm ready to make it out, but yeah, Scavenger is fun as well.
yeah, I think that's one of his best maps because like breaking this pipe seam right here early doesn't make as big of a difference, whereas breaking the pipe seam early on Scavenger I think gives you a massive advantage. So, uh, yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about before we start this match, or?
Not really, man. I'm ready.
Okie doke, let's just get into it. So my first turn, build 2 infantry, shoot the pipe seam, and then... Wait, did I shoot the pipe seam? I don't know if it came up, but it doesn't matter. Your turn, I guess you do the same thing. Go for the first base. Feel free to cut in if you ever want to show any things of your own, by the way. I'm
All
just going to
good.
go through it for now. And I don't, for some reason, it's not showing the artillery fire, but I think they're supposed to be firing at the pipes here.
Yep.
So,
And sometimes it delays the pipe getting destroyed. Sometimes like the pipe is destroyed, but you don't see it. So infantry just walk like they can pass through pipes.
yeah, it must be a bug with the replay. That is kind of weird, but yeah. So you broke yours already because you shot at the first 2 turns. So you're like a ghost walking through the pipe there. But it is in fact broken for everybody wondering. See, early on, there's not too much to commentate on really because it's just a bunch of infantry spamming basically. Oh wait, I think I'm lagging for a second there. All right, sorry. My mouse wasn't responding. Sorry about that.
But fun fact, we go for the port at the same time, but I was player 2. So if I was player 1, I would already be about to cap the buildings.
Yeah, but see, it seems like a big advantage, but like that infantry from that top base can still go for other cities. Like it's not essentially get that port turn earlier. So I don't think it makes a huge difference compared to certain maps, but it's a nice little advantage you get there, I suppose. So you're still spamming infantry, get that port like you said, and we go on to my turn. So I think I just do all infantry, keep walking them forward again. I have to send that guy towards the airport and that guy towards the city because they're all within 2 space movements. Yeah, still just spamming infantry. Let me know if there's any intricacies in your cap phase you want to talk about, and then I'll slow down.
Cap phase is boring usually.
Okay, see, this is actually a good play. You start with APC.
Yeah.
You wanna talk about why you want APC here?
I used to hate a lot APCs, but then I've seen DJ's video about APCs and I tried out APC. And at first I thought APC were shit, despite trying. And then at some point I realized I had a small increase in my capture game because of the APC. And then I was like, oh, maybe my win rate will be higher, but then I realize it's just a bit higher. I don't feel it like I don't feel it fully, but I can tell the capture game is a bit better with the APC than without APC. But I'm still very divided. I don't always APC. I just APC when, for example, I have 7K like right now. When I have 7K, I tend to do APC or Raycon opener, but I prefer the APC opener than the Raycon opener.
Okay, yeah. See, I understand your thought process there, and yeah, they obviously accelerate your cap phase. But the way I think about when to build APCs is if you can accelerate at least 2 properties, that's when they're worth, because they cost 4,000 more than an infantry, and if they accelerate enough properties, they kind of pay for themselves. So, and the weird thing about APCs is they're probably the most map dependent unit in the game. Like on certain maps, they can be extremely good. Other maps, they're completely garbage. So.
This is true. On top of my head, I cannot think about some maps I don't have APC, but I know there are some map I just never buy APC. But in this map, I tend to buy APC early in the game.
Yeah, the reason it's good on this map is look like how far away the bases are from the action. Like if you just keep building infantry, they're gonna take forever to go get to any of these cities, right? But
Yep.
if you can, if like a tank early on is just gonna like run somewhere to the middle, probably not attack anything. Whereas if you do an APC, you can actually get a little more income early. So I think this is probably one of the single best maps for APCs, at least in the fog pool. But in stuff like standard, when they can actually see your APC and punish it properly, end up being not quite as good. So.
Yeah. In standard, it's rare I will use APC.
Yeah, so I opt to go for APC as well early on, because I think this is the same opening G just had in his video where Go7 did APC from this base pretty early on, so I decided to try it out as well. And I even walked this infantry back this way to load up into it. And keep spamming infantry, of course. So yeah, this is the important part. I want to see how you end up deciding to use your APC, because depending on how they're used, they can be extremely effective or pretty mediocre.
Usually in this map, I use my APC to drive units in this point because here it's your weak point. So I like to have
Mhm.
focus on my opponent weak point to have more property on this side. So maybe I can control that side of the map. And this side, I will send troops later on because if I just give it to you, it's pointless to just control this area. So usually I like to send my infantry on the weak point of my opponent because I don't expect many tanks or recon in this area. I will expect much more tank and recon in this area.
Okay, so why would you expect less tanks on my strong side exactly?
Because here it's your weak side, right?
I'd argue that's your strong side, because if you look, this base right here, see that base where my APC is sitting right now? That can very easily reinforce the top left corner, whereas this base doesn't quite as quickly reinforce this one. So I'm
I
a little more
always
likely to build a tank here early, I think.
I
Yeah, go
al-
ahead.
I always picture the map as this is weak for blue, this is weak for yellow, because two bases are like heading toward that location, and it takes more space for this base to reinforce this area, less space for this base to reinforce this base.
Yeah, I guess I see what you mean, but it's a bit of a fallacy, because although this base looks like you want to send it left, you can really send it either way. Like, most of the time I end up just building infantry from that empty base right there, but yeah, I can see your thought process. I don't hate it, but let's just, yeah, I don't know. I want to see how you end up moving your APC. So yeah, you loaded up that infantry into it, move it to the left, and then you jump them off. Okay, that worked out. Cap those 2 cities. and just keep building infantry. All right.
No,
Is
I
there anything
don't
else you
know
wanted to
why I
commentate
dropped the
about?
infantry. I just dropped the infantry. I don't know why.
I kind of agree because there's no point in keeping it in your APC unless you're gonna get hit by like a cool-off superpower or something. But if you take it out of the APC, you have the option. You can still load it in next turn, or you can run it somewhere else if you don't want to end up putting it in there.
Yeah.
So here, here's the big difference. I'll show you. Like your APC, it boosts this infantry forward, right? But that infantry at the top, he can't actually grab any cities on the next turn, so it ends up not being that efficient. Whereas if you look at my APC movement here, okay, first I cap all these random cities. I load up this guy all the way in the back, who would like otherwise be doing nothing. Push him forward a few squares. Oh wait, I moved this infantry first. I push him forward a few squares, and look, now this guy who otherwise wouldn't be cap anything can cap the city on this left part right here.
And
So
you can load
that's what he's gonna
another
do next
infantry
turn.
as well.
Yeah, so just because of this weird forward base, an APC on this left flank can get a lot of value, whereas on this top flank, like you did, which would be here for me, there isn't quite as many infantry for it to boost early on, so...
Well, that's good. I never really realized. Usually it's randomly, like, sometimes it's randomly. At that point, I thought by sending it, as I said, in this area, because I thought that was your weak point. I thought it was a good idea. But sometimes I'm like, I don't know where to place my APC, but I had the thought process on our game, because I knew you were good. But in other game, I don't have any thought process. I just make APC when I want, as long as an infantry can go in.
Yeah, whenever I'm thinking of when to build an APC, I'll have to plan out like a couple moves before that and see like, oh, is this actually going to get value? Is it going to be a worthwhile buy? So they require more planning than most types of units I see, but at least I find. All right, I guess we can keep going. No, don't close replay. My mouse is slightly delayed, sorry. There we go. Alright, and then I have to go my first tank on the right side, because I want to get some early protection for my infantry on the right. Alright, so you just keep capping. You see, like, your APC doesn't have too much to do this turn, so yeah, I think it's just going to end up sitting there and boosted infantry in the back. And feel free to take control of the mouse if there's any important moves that you think I'm missing.
All good. It's still very early. Right now, there's not that much important stuff happening.
Yeah, I tend to agree, yeah. So
When
like I grab that city.
When it's
Okay, go ahead.
important, this is when fight happens. Now this is important.
Well, I mean, the cap phase, optimizing the cap phase can give you advantage when the fight does happen, so sometimes it's worth talking about. Especially with APCs. So, like, some people here, like, I load this guy up into the APC, and rather than moving my APC, like, 10 tiles forward to grab one of these cities at the top left, I opt to instead just move it a few more tiles forward. Oh, frick. Here, do you want to just advance the things? Because my mouse is, like, got a quarter-second delay. It's kind of awkward to use.
Is
So, yeah,
it
here, you
working?
just keep advancing the moves. It's working okay, but it's got a slight delay. Sorry, I'm just being picky. But let me just show what I was talking about first. See, look, I don't move it way far forward. I just move it a little bit forward, drop that guy off, and then I use the little APC glitch here. Also boost this guy forward one turn. So now both those guys who wouldn't be capturing anything are now both in range to capture a city on the next turn. And I even have another infantry ready to back up to load in the next turn. So this APC has boosted 3 properties already. It's going to boost a 4th. So it's gotten immense value. So it's already been a worthwhile build. Okay, we get into your turn. And yet, part of the reason, I don't hate the idea of like pushing on your opponent's weak side early. Like if you did think the top left corner was my weak side, I wouldn't disagree. But APCs, they're not really fighting units. Like infantry aren't units you want to fight with. They're more units you want to cap with. So, like if you wanted to go aggressive, I probably would have went recon in the top left. But that's just me.
Okay, I see. That's a good point. The way I have seen it, send infantry, like try to snatch as much building as you can early before engagement are taking place, because usually when war starts, you cannot really capture much building because your infantry are just being targeted by other infantry or recon or whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, this AP, it does get a valuable boost here. Like getting these 2 cities early can be good, but you can kind of infer I'm gonna have vehicles to contest pretty soon. So, I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I don't think I would have done that play. And also, you go.
So, before the crash, because we experienced a crash, you were about to say something. Ask it right
Yeah,
now.
I think we're a little behind. I think we're a turn behind where we were at. Let me skip a couple turns because I remember you had built a anti-air, didn't you?
Oh yeah, and I forgot to give you control again.
Ah, okay.
Now, now you got control.
All right, let's skip forward. Yeah, like oh wait, it's because it's at the end of this turn. Let's just go through all your moves. So all these captures I don't disagree with. You get a nice boost with your infantry, like we were talking about. And then this is what I thought was really interesting. You have to go APC and anti-air here, which let me explain why I don't like either of these builds. So the APC is really good early on this map, but look, all your infantry are all way out ahead of your APC, and your funding is high enough that you don't really want to boost these. Like these infantry in the back don't really need to be boosted because you have so many in the front. So I think this APC is a little too late to get enough value to be worth it. And also this anti-air I think is a little bit early because even if I did build an early battlecopter, it's gonna take like 3 whole turns to fly to anywhere where I'm gonna fight. So I think you could have delayed this one more turn and went tanked. That says you had 2 tanks. You had a tank to support this one.
Okay,
But
that's a good idea. But here's my reply. It's not perfect because I'm a bad player, but all I will say in my defense, I don't like surprise battlecopter because battlecopter are really strong. So I like to be ready, and I really don't know when my opponent will have battlecopter. So usually my second or sometimes fourth depends on my money, but around my second to fourth build, I have an NTR ready because I don't want the battlecopter to cripple my capture game or my tank game. So I like to be ready for any battlecopter assault.
okay, makes sense. But one reason I especially don't like anti-air because when you're playing as Grimm, they die really easily to tanks, and another disadvantage they have is like the extra firepower they don't benefit from because they're already one-shotting captors, right? So
This is
uh,
true.
in my video that I'm gonna upload soon, I actually prefer battle captors versus battle captor as Grim rather than going anti-air, but it's not the worst mistake in the world. Like, but I personally would win for tank, so it works out fine. It works out fine. But yeah, let's just keep going, I guess.
I'm
So
not a
like I said,
fan
I
of battlecopter
go ahead.
versus battlecopter because I like my battlecopter to take other engagement. Of course, if your battlecopter is in range of mine, I will take the first strike because the first strike, especially with Grimm, will tend to lower your battlecopter HP to 1 or 2 HP. So this is good if it goes to me, but it's rare. You will truly get a first strike on the another battlecopter. Like the one that gets the first strike is really happy, but that's also why I like to use my battlecopter for other units.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to say about that, or
No, we can move further.
okay? I guess I'll demonstrate my point why I don't like Romantier at some point, but for now it's just a bunch of basic builds, keep moving stuff, yada yada. See, most of these moves aren't too important because it's just move all my units forward at max move, so nothing much to commentate on. But here I actually move my APC all the way forward, put that infantry on the mountain, because it can still capture the next 2 cities, and it gets good vision to see if you have like a recon or something coming in. I go recon, tank infantry.
Nice recon.
Alright.
Nice.
Yeah, I
Recon.
mean, the reason I built it is because I just had the funding to build it, right?
Yeah.
And I could still build 2 tanks the following turn, so it's not like a huge funding loss right now. So that was my thought process. Okay, so yeah, just a bunch of captures. This all is good right now. Push that infantry forward, and look, this is smart. You leave it so that your next infantry can load up into it. So that works out pretty well. And here you go, double artillery. So maybe I'm being a little too analytic, but maybe not analytic is the correct word, but a little too. I don't know the word critical, I guess, but I don't like artillery this early on because usually people will you'll take your engagements really far forward, so the artillery can't protect your infantry properly early on. Like if I decided to attack you with tanks down here, your artillery wouldn't be able to reinforce quite as quick as a tank would.
This is true.
Tell me why did you go double artillery this early?
I thought if I had my artillery that is locked in the pipe, if I had it earlier and faster, maybe I could surprise you with the artillery assault, but you're right. I have nothing to back up my troops. So maybe the idea was good but poorly executed.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good to build an artillery at some point, especially as Grimm, since you can break the pipe seam in 2 turns, but I think this is a little bit too early, just a teensy bit too early, so. Yeah, I probably would have built a tank on each flank before going for that. But yeah, I'm being a little too analytical at this point. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's part of giving other one idea. That's perfect. Like you're giving your ideas on the moves, and that's fine. That's the point of the collab, knowing what the other one thinks.
True. So here, rather than capping the top city, I opt to attack your infantry because Grimm infantry just melt like paper. Even though you're on a city, look at that. I deal 6 damage, which is pretty crazy. And here's the principle I'll show you as well. Like I could get another first strike in the middle. I move this tank to cover this infantry. So if you do decide to attack with a tank, I already have it to cover. Whereas if this was an artillery, it would be a turn behind. It wouldn't be able to cover this infantry in time. So that's why I like tanks this early.
And another thing, I'm not a fan of standard because most of the time standard is just tank spam. That's also why I like to use artillery. Like usually I don't have that many artillery, but today I just wanted to try something special because I knew you were better than me. So if I would play the usual way, I know I stood no chance. So I tried out more stuff to maybe increase my chances, maybe on surprising you or stuff. You see.
Yeah, your builds definitely surprised me, as we'll see as we get a little bit later into the game. So it did. I guess they'll see what I mean when we get later on. And here, I go for my first anti-air because look, I already got 3 tanks forward. I build another one. So now I can expect, okay, I probably need some air coverage. So that's why I go anti-air now. Okay. So what was your thought process going for this infantry attack here?
I wanted to kill that infantry, and I thought because I was on a city, if you had 1 tank around, I would be fine. Even if I'm Grimm, I'm still only building, so maybe my first strike on the next turn would be good. But I wanted to wipe out your infantry, and since I had no visual, I had no idea you had that infantry there. So I thought that was your only infantry in the area. And yes, I was stupid, but like,
I mean, I wouldn't call it stupid, but I'll explain why it's a mistake. So basically, the reason it's a mistake is, first of all, you're playing Grimm, and Grimm's units, whenever you get first struck as Grimm, doesn't matter what terrain you're on, you're going to get destroyed, right? So, and especially since there's a plains tile here, I'm playing Jake, so I just have a massive firepower bonus. So combined with your lower defense, you guys will see how bad this trade is. And another reason it's bad is you don't have another tank to back it up, because you can kind of presume early on I'm going to attack you with tanks, if anything. Because it's usually more risky to attack with battlecopters this early, since they die instantly.
Yeah.
So if you had a tank to back this up, I would have liked the play. But since you don't have a tank to back it up, that's why I kind of dislike it.
Okay.
Usually, Fog usually boils down to having units covering your units. So if they do decide to attack, you can get a counterattack. Like you see, you go for this infantry too. This was a good one because look, I don't have any infantry ready to counterattack. I don't really want to risk putting a tank out in the middle in case you counterattack me. So this attack I agree with. Well, the thing about fog is it's really hard to know when to attack because you can never see what's happening. So you kind of have to plan around so many things. It's really weird. Anything else you wanted to comment on there?
Not really, man. You covered the topic well.
Okay. And I like how you use this APC to boost another infantry here. So if I do decide to counterattack your infantry with my own, you can. This guy's ready to counterattack as well. So that was a good play. You get a lot of good early pressure here. It takes me forever to get this city, if I remember correctly.
This is true.
Yeah, so you keep both these artillery back so you can two-shot this thing next turn. So you're just gonna have like a huge army of artillery on this following turn. Okay.
This was the plan.
I see. Alright, so I do the exact same thing I did the previous turn. Boost my guy into the mountain so I can get vision of your tank. And now look at how devastating this is. Grimm just boom. Look at that. It was all the way down to 4.
That was
really
painful.
rough. Yeah. That just shows you the power of Jake. Like, every tile on this map has at least one plains tile next to it, so you can almost always get a favorable engagement. So that's why I think he's so good on this map. Alright.
I've never seen that this way. This is actually a good point. Jake is truly good on this map.
I think there's a case for Jess being slightly better, because as you can see, like, the funding on each side is so ridiculously high, and like, there's not too many infantry fights. So I think Jess is the only CO that in this tier that really can contest him well. But I mean, Adder's always good, but I think Jake in particular shines on this map. And yeah, look, I moved my tank ready to back it up. So even if you do counterattack with a tank of your own, like if you had me covering, then I can counterattack with another tank. So this is an important theme I think needs to be. Yeah, this is an important theme of my playstyle, as you'll probably see. Just having tanks covering other tanks, so on and so
here
forth.
I got a question for you. I know a lot of people criticize a lot anti-air. Why did you build a second anti-air? I'm not saying like I don't agree with that. I'm just wondering why did you bought a second anti-air, because you're a great player, so probably you have a good thought process about it.
Yeah, so the reason I did that is because look at how big this map is. It's huge. One anti-air can't cover attacks from battlecopters over here and over here at the same time. So it's first to cover this flank as well. And another big reason I decided to build an anti-air is because you're playing Grimm. And I think Grimm captors are extremely good. In the video I'm making, I demonstrate this pretty well. But Grimm captors basically, since they have lower defense, sure, they take more damage, but the units captors get shot by, like, are other captors in anti-air, and they already, like, get wrecked anyways, so... basically, it's because Grimm captors, they benefit more from the attack and don't receive as much of a penalty from the defense, so... I expected you to go heavy captor, which you didn't end up doing, but as you can see, I just keep these guys in the back lines, only use them to attack if I see a captor, and... It's not necessarily a huge mistake to do them early on, because it just protects me from getting copter swarmed.
I like your thought process. I like it a lot.
Yeah, normally against another CO, I wouldn't recommend the second anti-air this early, but yeah.
It's because I'm Grimm. I like it a lot. I learned something. You see, me as a wall, I'm not a fan of air units. I know they are good. Battlecopters are really strong, but it's rare I will have battlecopters early in the game. I prefer tanks, and I also prefer taking up faster. And battlecopter, I see them as either it's one of your first build after the tank or the anti-air, or it's when you need vision, because they still have good vision later on the game. But I'm not a fan of air unit. You will barely see me having bombers, because I feel like bombers, yes, they are really strong, but they are also easy to shut down, whether it's the fighter or the anti-air that shut down bombers. That's why I'm not a fan of air units. Anti-air are such a great counter for air units. Like, sometimes I will buy them to surprise my opponent, or when I know I'm losing the tank game, then I go for battlecopters or bombers. but usually I try my best to keep it ground unit fight based.
Okay. Yeah, and in fog, generally that's a good plan because since you never know what your opponent can attack you with, like if you throw a battlecopter out into the middle and it gets shot down by an anti-air, suddenly, oh look, you're in a horrible position. Your battlecopter died to one unit, right?
Yeah.
But at least with certain COs and in standard especially, they're a lot easier to use because you just keep them out of anti-air range. But yeah, I understand your thought process. It makes sense. So here, I think this is one of your biggest mistakes of the match, actually. As you might hear on Mangs' channel, I think they say that a lot. But look, you position really aggressively with all 5 of these infantry, and like, look, I
I
guess you
did.
can't know this, but look, I have so many guys ready to just absolutely wreck you. So, I mean, I hope that doesn't bother you that I said that, but
No, I
in
find
my
that
humble
very
opinion, yeah.
funny. You know why? When I was playing, I was like, I will do something special. I will take one of his buildings and try to hold it. But then I remember what happened after that. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah, like it makes sense because you're blocking off this guy. He's probably gonna get this city, but yeah, it's a little risky because you never know how many guys I can have lurking, as you will find out. And here you go, early medium tank. All right, I think I forgot to mute my Discord. That might have been my Discord barking at me there. Yeah, so early medium tank, I actually like this build a lot, because you basically know. Well, I think it's a good idea because you already seen I killed your tank with my tank, and you can figure I have a tank to back it up. So this medium tank is going to be completely uncontested. And another good advantage is if I go medium tank of my own, you already have so many artillery to even if I do get the first strike, your artillery can just blast me away. So I liked this build. I thought it was pretty intelligent. Do you want to comment on why you built a medium tank there?
Yes, and yes, actually, I have a short comment about that. I don't know if it's good or bad, but the moment I hit 18k on my turn, usually I tend to have my first medium tank out, and sometimes it's followed by battlecopter for vision. But most of the time, the moment I reach 18k or more, I get a first medium tank out because people usually they take up a bit later, like around turn 12 to 14, and I like to have the first medium tank out. Of course, sometimes I can't, but I really wait until I have 18k to make sure I have 2 other infantry because you need to use all of your bases. If you waste your bases, this is pretty dumb. Like, sometimes I see people taking up, but they don't have the money to back it up, so they end up with their entire money wasted into one medium tank but no infantry. I don't agree with that. That's why I usually wait until I have 18k or more.
Yeah, and it ended up working pretty well. As you'll see, this guy gets a lot of early pressure here up in this corner. So, yeah, it was a good play. All right, so like I said, look, all these infantry just get rolled over. Look at that. I get like a planes bonus on. Yeah, look, dude, Jake infantry on planes just utterly demolish you. You have one guy that's gonna come out of here alive, or healthy at least.
The massacre.
And here, yeah, here I do a play. I decided to retreat back here because look, I got an attack on your tank. I can figure, oh, you need something healthy to come counterattack with. So you're probably gonna be sending units over this way. So I'm like, I'm gonna pull back, cover my middle because I just killed so many infantry. I'll probably have a good unit count advantage there. So I might as well attack there. Here I go for recon infantry, and then I put my infantry on the city, so you can't counterattack with a tank from the city. Move that tank back, like I said. I guess I sack 1 infantry to kill your infantry. Anything else coming on? And yeah, look, I move both my tanks and my anti-air this way. So if you do decide to attack my recon, I have a counterattack ready. So. And then I actually go double recon. I don't know if I completely agree with this, but I think it's because I figured this one might die this turn, and I want vision on both fronts. So, and I build an early battlecopter too, because they're great against Grimm tanks, and in case you do copter spam too, this can still fend off captors. All right, your turn. So yeah, you get some good shots down here. This worked out well. One slight improvement I would have done is I would have shot both these infantry here and here, then I moved this guy onto the city, so you'd have a little more defense. But
Oh,
that's just nitpicking at that
good.
point.
I like your thought process. I should have thought about that. That's good. I like it.
Yeah. As Grimm, it doesn't make as big of a difference, because then like your units still die pretty easily, but it's just a tiny little thing.
That's your standard player speaking right now. This is good.
Yeah, so here I think you make another pretty big mistake. You decide to attack this infantry with your anti-air.
Yeah.
So it ends up kind of working out because I don't have like enough tanks to really properly punish you, but this is really risky because Grimm, actually I'll pull up the damage calculator for this. Grimm anti-air die horribly if you take a shot from a
Yes.
tank. So it's very risky. Like let's say I did end up attacking you. Is it because I'm in the fog? You can't see me? Whatever. Let's just pretend you're fighting Andy instead. Like, if you get first struck by a tank, even without a comm tower, look, you go all the way down to 3 HP. So then your anti-air is worthless. So it's generally you just want to zone with anti-air. Like I think you just put this in his video. You might remember zone with anti-air and then use your tanks to attack.
You're speaking about zoning out, and that's very funny because I did the same thing with DJs during our game, and he was like, "Why did you do this? NTR are meant for defense and zoning out copters." And all the game after that collab, I was actually playing smart with my NTR. I don't know what happened here. I just forgot about DJs during this game because I knew it was looking bad for me right now. So maybe I was like, oh, maybe if I deny him some caps in that area, maybe it's fine.
It actually kind of works out decently because it allows you to initiate caps in both these cities this turn, but in general, it's a bit risky because
it's actually awful play. That was a huge mistake. Now I see it because D just told me the same thing. NTR are meant to zone out units, and now I realize I lost my tank because I had no clue you had the tank there.
Yeah. So you do a good job of walling this anti-air, so now like I can't actually attack it back, but like if I happen to have a tank here rather than an anti-air of my own, I could have probably killed your APC with my first tank and then tanked into anti-air, which would have been bad for you.
Yeah.
And another reason this is particularly another reason I wouldn't do this is that now it reveals you have an anti-air here, so I can kind of think, oh, I probably shouldn't send my battlecopter that way. I'll just send it to the middle or to the right instead, because you're less likely to have anti-air there. So.
Yeah.
And you go another medium tank. so I guess I might as well ask you. So are you just going like full out heavy tank now? Is that your plan?
Yeah. But sometimes I do full out heavy tank for like 2 or 3 turns. It depends on the games. But at that point, I know I am losing the tank fight, so I'm like, I will win the tech fight because I'm losing the tank fight. That's why I need 2 medium tank. I forgot if during this game, after this turn, I get battlecopters or recon. I forgot, but I know at some point I have battlecopters. But usually, after my first medium tank, I tend to get a second one to back up the first one. But yeah, this is just the way I see it, because if I am losing the tank fight, I need heavy unit to maybe come back on the race.
Yeah, a surprise medium tank, like if they don't have a medium tank or artillery or battlecopters to counter it, it can get a ton of value. So I like it. And also, since you built 2 of them, if I happen to have teched up, you can counterattack with your own medium tank. So it ends up working out.
That's the point.
So yeah, I put another infantry on this mountain with this APC. I've done this 3 different times, as you'll see. Like it's really nice to be able to just throw infantry on this mountain whenever I want.
Yeah.
And I kill your tank. Like I could opt to like go anti-air into this, but I'm like, why would I do that? I'm just gonna keep it in the back, cover me in case you counterattack. And basically, the reason I go for these aggressive infantry attacks is because I know I already killed like 4 of your guys, so you're not that likely to have that much to back me up. So I basically can get a lot of pressure here in the middle now.
This is true. Oh my. Oh my.
Yeah.
This is violent. I get punished
hmm
so much.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't. It doesn't seem like that big of a mistake, but just the fact that you lose 4 infantry so early on, it's a bit rough. But
It's a
you
lot
end up
rough.
you get good counterplay in the corners at least, because look, like you're already up 1k income actually, and you're gonna get this city too. So, like, although you're losing in the middle, the flank flights are where the income's really at. So, and I actually go double battlecopter because I figure, oh, he's got an anti-air up here, might as well go another one because he probably doesn't have one over here. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm really afraid of copter spam when I'm basing a Grimm, so I'm trying to cover myself as well as possible from that.
But now I learned something. I learned that the battlecopters with Grimm are really strong.
Yeah, well, when I upload my next video, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But they are a little hard to use. Here you go for Knucklebuster. Get a good attack here.
I was hoping to kill the
Uh,
tank, and I failed. I
yeah,
was
I
like,
mean,
maybe I can eye roll this and kill it.
it's not that big of a deal though, because a 1 HP tank, it's not going to do anything, right? So although it stays alive and it can scout, it's not that big of a deal.
No,
Yeah, so you
my
have to even finish it off.
I I
This
kept
is
the
yeah.
anti-air there. That was my mistake.
Yeah. I think I actually opt not to attack it on the next turn because I want to kill your tank instead because I don't have any air troops over here. But yeah, generally you want to pull it back at that point. Oh, and another reason I don't like artillery that much in this map is I can see when your pipe stream breaks, even though it's way out of vision. That's a weird glitch that they still haven't fixed. So I basically know you broke this artillery out, probably have two coming this way, so should probably comment on that, I figured. And now you go battlecopter, you get the vision like you were saying. And you go another anti-air. So did you go this anti-air because you thought this one would die? Was that your thought
Yeah,
process?
exactly. I was like, I messed up. I will lose my tier. I need another one.
No, that's really good. Like, I do the exact same thing. If I ever decide to use my anti-air to attack something on a turn, I'll immediately go anti-air the next turn because I'll be like, oh, I don't want to be, like, wrecked by air, you know? So these were both good builds, I think. I like both those. Your builds have been fine. It's just some of your attacks haven't been great. Like, yeah, this tank, I think this was another mistake because like you have an artillery to back it up, but it can't attack the following turn, right? You have to like go cover it a whole nother turn later. So
Yeah.
this tank's just begging to get first struck from the city right now. All right, getting into my next turn. I kill your infantry with my tank.
And my tank as
Blast
well.
away your tank. So this is the problem with Grimm. Look at how easily he dies. I deal 6 damage, even though you have the 10% defense from your power. It's like, it's so sad. Poor little Grimm.
Without my power, I would be at 3 HP.
Yeah, it's really rough. So, yeah, like there's another first strike. Grimm just dying horribly right now. Luckily, I don't have 2 tanks, so yeah, your anti-air actually makes it out of here. Because I don't want to go anti-air versus anti-air, because yours will come out alive. But I do bring another tank to back me up. So, yeah, it's just like I kept on saying. You want to chain your tanks together. If you ever attack this tank with a tank of your own, I can run in with another tank. Oh, and also, I don't know how, but I just randomly decided to walk my infantry up this way, and I happened to scout your artillery. So that gives me some nice intel.
What just happened?
The damage calculator packed up. I'm trying to close it. It won't close. Okay, you wanna? Let's refresh it. Maybe that'll fix it.
Yeah.
Alright. Oh, but now I have to redo my whole turn. How annoying. Sorry about that. Yeah, the replay system, it has little, like, finicky glitches, so sometimes you have to, like, replay turns. It's a bit annoying, but otherwise it's pretty good. So yeah, I'm still spamming tanks, like, I think this was a mistake. I probably should have known you were going to attack up this point, but... So yeah, like, all my tanks have got nothing to shoot at, because they don't do much to medium tanks, so... I think this was good on your end. Actually, I remember now my thought process. The reason I go to double tank recon is because I'm going to get my superpower soon. If I decide to pop it on the next turn, Then I'll have 3 units that get +2 move to go reinforce, rather than just 1 medium tank. That's not as much, so...
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, you pull your tank back to heal, you use this to block. This is great usage of your APC, because at this point, boosting infantry doesn't do much, but yeah, blocking for your artillery, super good.
The APC late in the game is the roadblock.
Yeah,
Expensive
yeah.
roadblock.
See, that's why they're so good. Like, they don't even need to... Yeah, even if they don't get value early on, you can still get value of them later, so... They're not units that are going to die, really.
And more than that, you did ferry units, and later on, by dying, they will give you power charge. So they will pay themselves back anyway.
Yeah, like the 5,000 power charge, it's nothing to scoff at. Yeah, this is good. You move your artillery to cover, so I can't really afford to attack you. And another part that made this even better is, like, I don't have a recon to scout you. Like, if I could have seen you, I could have probably killed this artillery this turn, but...
That's
yeah,
also
the
my
vision
gamble
saves
there.
you.
I was like, I killed his recon, I just hope he does not have another recon around.
Yeah, and luckily this one can't really get into position to scout it. Or at least, I don't end up using it to scout this turn. And you go for another heavy tank, so you're going absolutely ham with all the medium tanks. And I've got, like, nothing to answer him, so... As you'll see, this ends up working out, kinda. But one thing, I have this sneaky little recon right here, which is getting me, like, infinite value. Look, I spot your medium tank, and now I figure out, oh, I don't want to attack up here because I can't deal with this medium tank, right? So rather than keeping my tank up there, oh, and I even spot another medium tank. So this recon right here is
reaction?
like,
what was your first reaction at that point?
I was like, oh my gosh, why is he building so many medium tanks this early? And he's got 2 artillery too, so it's like, I mean, it's not that bad, but this recon, just the fact that I managed to see this allows me to play it more aggressively everywhere else on the map, so... And I don't know. Okay.
Grimm dies. Grimm tried.
Yep. The infantry fight, like, you got one guy in the middle, I've got, like, 500 at this point, so not looking good. So yeah, like I said, since this recon spotted all this stuff, I'm like, oh crap, he can have those cities. I'm not going to be able to... I don't want to lose my tanks, so I back off. Send my battle copters up here, because they're the only thing that can really deal with these 2 medium tanks right now. And I immediately go medium tank, because I need an answer to them. And I actually pull back, which, if I knew better, I could have came in and attacked you this turn, but I decided to go for a more defensive approach, because once my superpower is charged, I can get a lot more value with these units than if they die now. Alright, so here you go, aggressive. Attack with your medium tank.
Now, I believe I did a mistake using the anti-air as scout, but I also thought killing your recon was the right thing to do because the recon was giving you too much intel. So I don't know if it was good or bad what I did.
Yeah, it ends up working out because, like, I don't remember if I end up killing this anti-air. I don't think I do. But yeah, usually anti-air for zoning, don't want to scout with them. This is why you should have built a couple more recons. Like, if you built a recon a turn earlier, you could have done the same thing, and, like, who cares if you lose a recon? It costs half as much, right?
Yeah.
So. Also, the anti-air's vision's just way worse. Like, if this was a recon sitting right here, you'd be able to spot my battle copter. Or, well, not my battle copter, but you can see a little bit further.
Yeah, your battle copter. I would be able to see it.
So here's one thing I don't really like. You have to, like, just move your artillery to the left here. Since you already committed to the attack with this medium tank, I probably would put, like, an artillery right here just to cover it. Or maybe here, because you don't want to, like... If I did have a medium tank and I did attack you, you didn't have an artillery to shell me back. That wouldn't be great.
Okay.
But I guess it's because I have superpower almost charged and you don't want to get destroyed by my superpower, so I guess it makes sense.
Now,
like, you even go another medium tank.
At that point, I thought I had a chance because I knew I had a better economy than you, but I had no clue you had such a bigger army than me.
Yeah, this is kind of the advantage of having, like, tanks over medium tanks. Is, like, obviously their mobility, but like my tanks can destroy all these little vehicles with my superpower, whereas your medium tanks can only destroy one tank each time. So like I can kind of afford to go all in and then take a couple counterattacks from medium tanks as long as I take out everything else. And yet here, I think this artillery at this point probably should have been a recon because like you're struggling for vision across like the whole map, and like yeah, I mean artillery can be good as Grimm, but yeah, if you need vision, recons are what you should go for, in my opinion.
You're right. But here's the thing. I know recons are good, I know it. But I don't tend to build them. I just don't
Well,
feel the need. Even if I need them, I'm like artillery or recon. Artillery. Even if I should
well,
have
think
more
about it.
recon, I should have more recon. I know it. I just feel like, oh, what a juicy artillery.
Yeah, but if like the thing about recons is like you can just sack them and who cares? Like if you
You're
had a
right.
recon right here, for example, like you could see two battlecopters, an anti-air, two tanks, so that'd give you like a ton of intel and be super useful because you'd know, oh, he's got less down here, probably nothing over here. So yeah, I'd recommend trying to integrate them more a little bit more in your mid game still because they're still useful. Like as you can see, I still have like 3 on the map, or well, I guess only 2 at this point,
You
but.
got good intel. That's a fact.
Yeah, like that one recon right there, you killed him, but it doesn't matter. He's dead. I already know you have all these guys up here, so I'm like, I'm just not gonna attack till I'm ready. So I'm building medium tanks so I actually can respond properly. Even capture your city. Keep going on. Yeah,
Uh,
let me know if there's any moves you have questions about or
One
something.
moment. We will just go see with OBS if it's still working. Yeah, it's still
Okay,
working. Perfect.
that's good.
And let's keep
All
going now.
right. Yeah, so basically, I don't know if this was the greatest play, but like I'm gonna get my superpower really soon. So I decide, all right, I'm just gonna conglomerate all my troops in the middle here because I can't really contest up here right now because I already know you have a bunch. So and I'm gonna go for like a death push towards your HQ. That's my plan.
At that point, I know I am in trouble because I see you capping my building, and I am lacking the infantry power because I was too greedy.
Yeah, so this is the problem. Like when you're down infantry like this, you can't really like if you want to interrupt this cap, you're forced to use a vehicle, which like then you can get counterattacked by a vehicle, and losing a vehicle is a lot worse than losing an infantry. You know. But
This is true.
yeah. That's why I said like losing all these infantry in the middle was pretty bad because like this whole time I've been kind of winning the infantry fight in the middle, and it's forced you to play a little suboptimally in other parts of the map. I feel. Yeah, I kind of like how you use this to scout a little bit. I mean, it doesn't get tons of intel, but
It's also to
if it
shield.
was one,
It's also to shield my HQ and my building because I know you will need units to kill my APC and infantry, and since they are across each other, uh, this makes the walls harder to kill. Now, of course, I had no clue you had that anti-air, and I think this is where and why I should have a recon to know you had anti-air around, even if they are on forest. Maybe if I had recon, I would be able to scout these anti-air before they went there.
hmm yeah, like just like I was saying, if this was a recon, let's pretend you moved it up here to like scout. You could have seen all these units I had, and then you would know, oh, I shouldn't attack with this medium tank this turn. But you end up not knowing that, so you go for the attack. You do a join cap here. That was good because now you can get this city earlier. And yeah, you even go in with this anti-air. Yeah, so you just zoning with the anti-air, man. You just said it. I mean, he patented it. It's really good. It's don't get me wrong.
But my thought process here, I need to kill your infantry because I am scared to lose building or HQ.
Uh,
But at that point, I
that
knew I
that
lost. At that point, I knew I lost.
like that's a bit of a fallacy that a lot of people fall into. They'll be like, "Oh no, they're gonna capture my buildings. I better sack my vehicles to stop them from taking my buildings." But the thing is, losing one building, that's only 1,000 economy, whereas losing a medium tank, that's like 16 turns worth of having this one building. So like in the vast majority of cases, you don't want to sack a medium tank stop it capture, unless it's like your HQ or maybe like a base. But yeah, this was good. This artillery covers both these guys. Oh frick! I selected the. Yeah, I hate how that's possible. So yeah, this was good artillery positioning, I felt. Yeah, so I have my superpower charged, but I find out, look, I don't even need my superpower to kill all these guys. They're all so close that my guys are in range anyway, so I decided to save it. I can get more value with it later. Another recon, look, just getting tons of value. I know now, look, now I know your medium tank can't counterattack if I attack your medium tank, so I basically get a free kill on your medium tank. I said medium tanks like 5 times in a row right there. That was a lot. And since you lost your anti-air, I opt to attack with my battlecopters this turn.
Yeah.
Even kill your APC. So yeah, like there's no way you can know I have all those units there, but like, the fact that you lose all these guys just to prevent these city caps, not the greatest in my opinion. And like my APC's been running around the map so much, it's only at 16 fuel at this point.
It did its job.
Yeah, it's getting on lots of value. And I once again, I know I killed one of your medium tanks. I see one more, so I've got 2 to answer that. And I'm like, oh, this is once again probably a bit of a fallacy. I probably should have went for like a Neo tank or something this turn. Or I guess I couldn't quite afford a Neo tank, but it's because I want to get my super to like reinforce really quickly with 3 vehicles rather than just 1. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. And look, when you're up this much income, you just want to like pull back, wait for them to attack, and then get a counterattack your own. Because like, if the game stalls out at this point, you're gonna be favored. Like going for this aggressive tank attack, completely unnecessary. You should have just like chilled in the back, I think.
I think at that point I knew I lost and I was just playing to play.
Yeah, just desperation attack. Yeah, because once you get to this point as Grimm, and like if you're already behind, and like a Jake is sitting on their superpower, like it's impossible to protect your units. Because like
cannot come back.
Yeah, like his superpower. This is why Grimm is so hard to use, because like every single CO in tier 4, except for like, yeah, I think every single one has powers that can boost movement. So like you can just absolutely wreck him from outside of his range. It's really annoying for him. But Fog, you can at least use your vision to kind of make up for that. Yeah.
Now at that point, I know the end is near, but I want to pull up a last fight before I die. So I drive back my units to my HQ.
I see. So yeah, this is good. You got the right. You know I'm going for the HQ right now, so you start pulling your units in there. But look, I think yeah, I move my recon in first to know if it's worth to pop my super this turn, and I figure out like this tank can reach this with I use my super. These tanks can both reach this. So I opt. Okay, time to use my superpower. Watch how much value this gets. Like you're at 14k value or 140k value right now, and watch my tanks.
Oh.
Boom. Here's another attack. I also reveal this, so now I know. Oh, look. I just have to leave my medium tank out range of that. Don't have to worry about it.
Pow.
Boom.
Pow.
Fortunately, this guy's not visible, so he's going to get a good shot next turn. And yeah, since I don't get the planes bonus, this wasn't the best engagement. I probably wouldn't have taken that in hindsight, but whatever. And look, I even spot this medium tank. Look at this. A jank tank versus... Even though you're on a city, just... Boom. That's like... Yeah. Decimating. But one mistake, actually... I mean, at this point, it's not... Maybe it's not super worth commentating, but look, I have to... I end up moving my medium tank in such a way that I can't reinforce this one next turn. You'll see, but... Yeah, so I just attack a bunch of stuff... Here I actually make a tiny mistake. I knew your artillery was here because it shot last turn. I wanted to scout it with my APC, right, because I don't have a recon in range. But I end up misplacing it 1 square. I should have placed it 1 lower. But, you know, it still gets value because I see you have a medium tank, so I'm just like, oh, okay, time to run away with my other tank. Yeah, see, like, this is 6 squares away from this one. So if you did have a medium tank ready to counterattack, I wouldn't be able to counterattack the next turn, so that wasn't the greatest, but it doesn't make a huge difference. And I figure out you're going medium tanks on the bottom side now. I think I go medium tank in the bottom as well. Oh no, I don't even do that. I go battlecopter artillery. So
Now, just before I die, I use my super.
yeah, so his super can be good, especially when you have a lot of units to attack. But the problem is you only have like 2 whole units that are going to attack right now.
And I lost
I guess this
50k.
one too.
I lost 50k.
Yeah.
But usually when I play Grimm, I prefer his power, but at that point I knew I lost, so I was like, oh, who cares? I'll just kill off and overkill some units.
Now, his super can be good, because, actually, oh no, I had the wrong button. Close that. Yeah, I want to pick the damage calculator. If you use your superpower, let's pretend it's tank versus tank. Swap these. Look, with superpower, you can one-shot an equal engagement, which is a pretty big deal, actually. So his super is not bad.
This is overkill.
I mean, no. Being able to one-shot is actually a pretty big deal, because if I had like a wall with like 2 tanks here and an artillery behind, it would be like impossible to break through with other steos. But Grimm can actually do that.
Yep. And now I resign.
Yeah, so you get some good attacks, but you can just see I've got so many more units. You got no good answer to both these medium tanks, and you can see them both. So, yeah, I mean, is there anything else you want to comment about on the game?
I enjoyed my time. Even if I knew I would lose, I was like, oh, that will be a learning experience, because you're one of the top player, I believe.
I'm not as good at Fog, but I think actually we can pull up my profile here. Why not? Yeah. So I'm rated 17th right now, but this is like the highest I've been at. So, yeah.
Why Eagle?
And with my Eagle, I actually think Rachel's actually my favorite CO, but Eagle's just a lot more versatile, and he's really good at certain maps. But yeah, actually, can I go to the leaderboards real quick as you? How do I do that? I mean, actually, I'm not logged in as me, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm ranked like 10th on high funds, like 30-something in standard, and like somewhere in the teens in Fog. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I'm up there. Not quite among the greatest of the greats, but I think I got a pretty decent idea of what I'm doing. So
You are still pretty good. 83 win and like 30 loss. That's pretty strong.
Well, once you play enough, you learn a lot, you know. So I guess the lessons to be learned here that you really need to take home is zone with your anti-air, don't attack with them, and then also chain your tanks together. So if you get attacked, you have a counterattack ready.
This is true. Yeah. I really like the experience, and that was very fun to have you on the channel. If whenever you want, we can do another video like this one.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. We'll for sure do something again in the future. So.
That's good. Do you want to plug any video incoming, or any stream, or any content you plan on doing?
Well, I'm gonna have a Grimm Fog match. That's gonna be the next one I upload, and then I think the one after that, I'm planning on recording a High Funds match. So, but I want to add music and stuff. So I'm in the process still. Still in the process, but yeah, if you guys want to check me out, it's just Witte711 on YouTube, and I'll hopefully be posting more Advanced Wars by Web videos there soon. So
this was a pleasure. So like, comment, and subscribe. His channel will be in the description below. So I wish you all a great day. Do you want to add anything up before we close?
Yeah, just take care, everyone.
Perfect.